me fire, give me that which I desire.
All right, welcome back to Wind Tunnel TV. Tonight, it's the RGR Racing and the Alive Church Xfinity Series here live from the Rockingham. I'm Dean Doucette. He's Jared Carr. Jared, the good old Rock here this evening.
Yeah, Dean, one of the hardest tracks you can drive. I mean, it is a bumpy, it is hard on tires, but the good thing about this track, Dean, is you're going to see a lot of different lines play out. I mean, you have the high line in 1 and 2, you have a high line in 3 and 4, you got a low line in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So there's all kinds of places you're going to be able to run around here tonight, and I've been watching practice a little bit, and everybody's trying to test out those different lines so that way they're prepared.
Of course, tonight's race, the Hymn of Heaven, Perri, 175, a friend of an iRacer on here. Perri has been lost, and of course, whenever the community loses someone, it's a tragedy. There's no doubt about that. Jared, I mean, iRacing, it's a tight-knit community, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's the thing about having these kind of events, right? Is it gives you the ability to kind of remember these people and remember the times you have with them. And I know that Perri was a really kind person and always had a smile on his face and all that stuff, Dean. And that's that's important when you're out here racing. You have to learn how to have a good time with it, even in the tough times.
Ain't that the truth? And we missed the good ones. There's no doubt about that. Tonight we honor him. Let's look in on our championship standings here this evening. And it's Bryce Reiner with a really quite significant lead now over James Hebert. Darren Bruce tied for third with George Leal. Jason Jackson in fifth. You got Tony Ratliff and the unnamed man in seventh place. I'm not sure who's supposed to be in there. But then Edward Kane, Rachel Hunt, and Jason
Adam
Spear.
Recker.
Adam Recker. That's okay. So Recker in seventh place there. And sorry about that, Adam. Don't know why we gave you the ghost name here this evening.
Yeah, and you look at those point standings, Dean, and it with only 2 races left after tonight, this being race 16, and then we'll go on the next couple weeks. It's really battle for the other positions, right? And it's a battle for wins more than anything. I don't think anybody really, I don't think there's any incentive to finish third in points or fourth in points. I think there's an incentive to go out to win. And we saw last week, Dean, at Michigan, some strategies that kind of came into play. Like, guys were going out there to win that race. And I wonder, with a tough and technical course like this, if people will do the same thing and try to go out there for the W, checkers or wrecker style.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect they would. The problem, Jared, is it's no easy feat, is it? I mean, this is a tough and technical track. These bumps are going to get people. And I think, I mean, you're going to see someone with some patience tonight perhaps come forward tonight.
Yeah, and hopefully, Dean always does a great job in the booth, man, the controls, but we can get on board with somebody during the race, because I don't think we can explain just by talking about how rough this track is and why they repaved it in real life.
Yeah, well, I mean, we hop on board right now briefly with Jason Ratliff here, and of course it cuts out as with session and warm-up has finished. So, as Jared said, you'll have to wait for during the race for that one. Beautiful looking out here. I'm not sure if Rockingham's had any updates, but iRacing working on upgrading their graphics. We certainly appreciate it in the booth here.
Absolutely. I'm liking the different modeling. I mean, it definitely looks more realistic than it's ever looked in the 16 years I've been on the service, 17 years I've been on the service.
Looking forward to the new graphics engine coming, and a lot of things coming. But right now, looking forward to tonight's starting grid. It's going to be Paul Travis on the pole tonight in the number 88 with a time of 24.540. Michael Walker, the second, will start on the outside of row number 1. The Bulldog returns, and he'll be starting in the 3-hole with Jason Ratliff on his outside. Nate Maurer and Michael Ottaviani will be in row 3. Row 4, Greg Ratliff and the Toad Man, Todd Gilly. It's Jason Jackson and Jason Brantley populating the top 10. We got Tony Ratliff and Tom Ashley round out your top 12 racers.
And you look further back, Jason Spear, James Hebert, who's second in points, does have a 20-point cushion on third place there. Rachel Hunt, Corey Buskirk in row 8, row 9. The last qualifiers, that's Darren Bruce and Herb Ashley. Then we got Bryce Reiner. He start not qualifying again. I guess, when you had that championship pretty much locked out, you might as well, start from the back, see what you can do. Adam Recker's back there. Eric Beller, Ricky Williams, Eric Whiting, Robert LaPrime, Mike Brown, and George Dibble rounding out your 26-car field tonight, Dean.
Yeah, and just to touch on Reiner and the qualifying, there is a rule here at this league. If you are not in the server with a half hour before race time, you are not allowed to qualify. So that's likely the issue there, Jared.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't know that, so that makes sense.
Jared is eating peanuts and not sharing, folks. We don't allow that in the booth. Pace car off the track. We're going green flag racing here at the Rock.
That's a quick start there after that pace car dropped off. And right now, already taking advantage of it's Paul Kay.
Yeah, and it's Ottaviani almost into the back of Jason Ratliff. And this is something where you're going to see vastly different braking points here.
Tight battle back there with Maurer and Ottaviani. And somebody's off. That's Todd Gill. Oh, it's Jason Spear down to the bottom of the track. Out very loose in the middle of 3 and 4. Everybody's checking up around him, taking evasive action around the 83.
Look at this car Reiner's in tonight. Reiner got a little something different out there, and I think that is in, a part of our race here this evening in which, forgive me, the Hymn of Heaven, Perri 175. So in honor of Perri on the hood there. You got to love that.
Yeah, great tribute there for Bryce Reiner. And Dean, you look in the middle of this pack. We already got some guys starting to flirt with the high side. I wonder if that's going to be a mistake this early on. But we did see Gilly and Brantley wrapping that high line in 1 and 2. And in 3 and 4, Adam Newton wrapping that high line.
Well, there's something to be said for the high line here, right, Jared? I mean, there is speed up there. What do you think the downside to running it is?
Well, I think you definitely. I don't know if there's a downside. Let me be honest. Traditionally, you're putting a lot on the right rear going up that high early, right? Oh, we see Ottaviani loose, Dean, really loose there. He might have got help. Couldn't tell from my vantage point, but Ottaviani very loose there in the 53.
Yeah, he skated up the track and he held on to her, but he's a little tentative now. You see Brantley having to check up for him, but Ottaviani will gather it up.
I think that answers what I was going to say, Dean. Right there. You're just putting a lot on the right rear, and when you start moving around a little bit too early, you have those situations.
Well, how about this? You see Paul Travis, Michael Walker walking away here, opening up a 1.5 seconds to the Bulldog Adam Newton. Is this a mistake, Jared?
Well, Rockingham is there's 3 tracks on the sim, Dean, that you cannot go as hard as you can go in the race and expect to be there at the end. And Rockingham is the hardest of those 3 tracks. This track will eat up tires. There's no grip. We're already racing at a really high track temp, 103 degrees. It is mostly cloudy, but it is still hot. So with all those things combined, I don't know what the max speed is. I think we were doing 25 or 24.5s for Q. But, these guys are running 24.9s right now. And I just wonder, is that too fast? At the same time, though, Dean, if you can get out there and create a gap, it doesn't matter, right? They're not going to be able to catch back up to you because the tires are all eventually going to level off to the same point at some point in time in this run. I would guess around 45 or 50 laps in.
Yeah, I tend to think like that a little bit. I mean, if you're getting out to a lead and you don't feel like you're grinding the tires, like really pushing them, I think it's okay. I mean, you might think, okay, they're going to come back to me a little bit, but are they going to catch me? And I think Paul Travis, Michael Walker feeling pretty good here. Good to see both these guys racing up front. Michael Walker, of course, we've seen him have some good runs, Jared. We've also seen a couple of them end in tragedy. And, I mean, we're kind of I'm rooting for the 22 anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a really good run early on. We'll see how this transpires, but what a job that he is doing right now. That gap, you know, if you look at it, Dean, it is about a second, a little over a second back to the Bulldog there, Adam Newton in third position. And right behind Adam Newton, another guy I want to highlight is Jason Ratliff. He's the guy that kind of played with that strategy. You know, he's out here for wins. And I got to tell you, you know, you cannot take your eye off the 55 machine. He's going to be a guy I think we're going to talk about as this race goes on.
Well, we've been encouraging it because he's the Rifleman, Jared. I love that name. I love his cars. And, you know, the Rifleman in Victory Lane has a nice sound to it as well.
Absolutely.
Nate Maurer right behind him in fifth. Greg Ratliff's picked up a spot. Jason Jackson's picked up a couple. The Toad Man in there in eighth. So the Toad Man looking good early on this evening. Tony Ratliff in ninth. And James Hebert, second in points, up 4 spots. One of our big movers on the night. He's up into the top 10, Jared.
Doing a great job, Dean, so far in this race.
Really is. Tom Ashley 11th. Otto Viani settled in. Darren Bruce has picked up 4. He's looking for more right here, trying to work on Otto Viani. Then it's Brantley and Reiner. Reiner trying to put that car in victory lane. You can never count him out, especially if he's racing with a heavy heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to be a guy that, you know, continues to move through the field. As you kind of look at this, you know, the movers, Dan, if I could talk, James Hebert up 4 positions. Then you have Darren Bruce up 4 positions, Reiner up 4 positions, and then Wrecker, Beller, both up 3, George Dibble up 6. But everybody else either has stayed the same or hasn't moved up at all, or maybe 1 position.
It looks like Rachel Hunt done for the evening. Mike Brown not gridding up here as Paul Travis out front leading them all. The 88 looking good, opening up now almost a second lead to Michael Walker and 2 back to Adam Newton. How about this? Maybe it's the Hendrick paint job there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Rachel Hunt, connection loss, so some issues on her end, probably ending her night, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. There you can see the distance now between him and Walker. There is Newton and the rest of them. Ratliff, Maurer, well, Jason Ratliff, Maurer, and Greg Ratliff. So Greg's starting to make some moves now. He pokes his nose underneath of Maurer.
And you look at these lap times, Dean, everybody's really in the 3s or the 4s inside the top 13 drivers. Odi Viani's the only one that's kind of dropped off. He's in the 6s along with Jason Brantley, and Bryce Reiner's in the 5s with Jason Spear and Adam Recker.
Yeah, very interesting. You know, this track, it takes a little getting used to, and if some of these guys didn't practice, it's going to take half the race for them to catch up.
Yeah, Bruce the fastest that lap, Dean, in 12th position, so the 15 machine moving to the front.
Yeah, no surprise. I think a little surprise, a poor qualifying effort. He probably crashed or something on one of his laps. It happens. But make no mistake, the 15 will be racy here. He looked good in practice, one of the top speeds out there. So I expect him to keep moving forward. Lap 19 of 175 here with RGR Racing.
Yeah, Dean, you look at these guys at the back of the field. They are only about 9 to 10 seconds ahead of our race leader. So we're going to get some lap traffic here in the next, I would say, 20 to 30 laps. And everybody else is really spread out except that group. So it's going to be interesting to see if they catch this lap traffic and they're still packed together like they are back there in the back half of this field.
Yeah, you got Buskirk, Ashley, Herb, that is, Eric Whiting, Ricky Williams, Robert LaPrime. They're all back here. Not too far away is Paul Travis. You see him entering the corner now. So you got a ways to go yet, but you're right. It'll definitely happen here tonight.
Yeah, the only other little group of cars is around that Nathan Maurer machine. Greg Ratliff right behind him. Jason Ratliff right in front of him, so he's found himself in a Ratliff sandwich. But the top top six have pulled away. And then you have the 7th place, Jason Jackson, making a move around Todd Gilly. But Gilly trying to get a good run down the back straightaway. He's going to look inside the 86.
We hop on board with Tony Ratliff and look at that fight right in front of us. And in his mirror, you can also see a bear back there. And you can see how much everybody's bouncing around, Jared. These cars very unstable.
Yeah, and again, the guy right behind Bear is Darren Bruce, and he is the fastest car on the track. Him and Adam Newton actually ran identical lap times, 25.663. But Gilly and Jackson battling there, they were running 26 flats. So they really have started to kind of get this group kind of pushed together by battling. It's tough here. If you can't make a pass, you're going to hemorrhage time. And you're seeing it right now as Tony Ratliff is starting to try to figure out how he can get through. And Gilly all the way up to the wall in 1 and 2 and pulls it down. That's the kind of line I like to run here, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said for entering in that hut.
No, he didn't go. Sorry, Dean.
It's okay. Got me excited there for a minute, Jared.
He gets the run off turn 2, and that's what that is designed to do, right? You pull it down off the corner, you get that huge run. But he's not, he's being patient, and I respect that. He's not diving it in there on entry. I hate when people try to pass on entry like that without having a nose alongside you. So it's respectable racing, but he's got to figure something out. And as that's going on, Bear slides underneath Tony Ratliff, but Ratliff fights back on the high side.
Yeah, you got to check up so hard in the center. It's hard to get the run. Bear did a nice job kind of maintaining. He should be able to get it done here. He rides him up the track a little bit, and around goes Ratliff. So can't get it done down there. Jared, what do? Do you look to try and use the shocker on him?
Well, you could, but you could also try what he's doing there and just try to go to the high side around the outside of him. But I'll tell you what, that little battle there, those two cars in front of him, Jackson and Gilly, pulled ahead by almost a half a second, and the guys behind Bruce, like Ottaviani and Bryce Reiner, have sucked right up to the back of him. So this is not what any of those guys want to see happening. Gilly smacks the wall.
Oh no! And someone into the back of Ratliff. That was maybe Bear. I'm not sure who got in the back of him. And yellow on the track. Oh boy! So Ratliff checks up for Gilly getting loose, and he gets run over for it. Not sure if that's accurate description, but here we go. So he checks up. Bear with momentum doesn't slow up as much. Little poke, and that's a hard lick. And it looks like some severe damage to Tony Ratliff.
Oh, and he hit the wall. He's got another wreck, Dean. That car, I was wondering if that car had terminal damage, and he does. He tried to turn into the corner, and that right front tow arm broke, and he just smashed into the 99 of Corey Buskirk. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we're running it back and looking here. He just goes straight up into the wall down the track, and Buskirk, innocent bystander, gets hit. Wow.
Yeah, and if you look at the right front, Dean, I have a couple things I want to say here, but I will say this. As he goes into the corner, the right front does jiggle quite a bit. Like, the toe is broke on that machine. And he just smashes the wall, but I don't know if he didn't have a warning. I'm not going to speculate too much if he didn't have, like, a meatball or anything like that. But unfortunate for all those drivers involved.
Definitely is. So status quo up front. Walker and Newton pretty close together. They get that sorted out. Guys who stayed out. Herb Ashley, Ricky Williams, Eric Whiting. I gotta think they're going to come in this lap, but they might just stay out.
that's not a winning move. And Herb Ashley knows it. He's going to
They're
come
all
down the pit
coming
road.
in.
They're all three of them going to come in. Okay.
Well,
good.
they heard your tone of voice, stern father figure. That is not okay.
Yeah, and no disrespect to these guys, but even if the best driver on the service stayed out on, 30 lap old tires at Rockingham, I would have a lot of concerns because of wheel spin and just being slow. I mean, you're just going to be slow compared to new tires, and those guys, better discretion was the better part of valor there.
Well, we just seen what happens when you slow up a bit, right? Gilly got a little bit loose, a little bit of a checkup, and it's so hard. These corners come at you so quick. It's so hard to handle the vehicle. You got a lot on your plate. Anybody's slowing up in front of you, you're just not going to react in time, Jared.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing. It coming off the turn, especially turn 2, we talk about it like in Texas and a couple of other tracks where the turn 2 is real, it's off camber. It breaks away toward the wall and flattens out. Rockingham very bad at that, and that's what happened to Gilly and created that big checkup.
All right, so we re-rack him. Pace car off. Travis leads him down. We're back green. A little bit of a checkup, but everybody okay there on the inside. Walker with a decent start, but surging. The Bulldog. Here comes Maurer.
Jason Spear spun the tires deeper back. Thought we were going to have an incident. Everybody gets away clean.
All right, so Spear with a bit of an issue. Walker managing to hold off Maurer. Maurer trying hard, but nothing doing. He'll have to fall in line. Meanwhile, the Bulldog now in second with clear track, and he'll be looking to hang in there with Paul Travis and see what he can do with him.
Yeah, and I wonder if Newton now, he had a great start last on the initial start, and Walker was able to hold him off, right? And I wonder now, Rachel Hunt is in the middle of the track.
Rachel Hunt stopped in the middle of the track. Very uncharacteristic. I'm going to guess some kind of disconnection issues for her. Probably storms in her area. I know Virginia being affected right now. I'm not sure if that's where she's from. But we do not even have video of it because she apparently had blinked out. So she might have just pulled off the track during a blink out. Hard to say.
Yeah, my guess is like maybe a computer issue or where the monitors shut off or something like that.
Yeah, I think
she's
like
trying to get off the track, right?
Storms everywhere, Jared. I just think perhaps, that'll shut your system down. I know I was running some laps with someone we run a lot with, Mr. Bartell out there, and he was having issues out of Virginia. On pit road, Reiner, Wrecker, Beller, Ricky Williams, Herb Ashley, all on pit road. Ashley going to have to wait at the end of pit road. I hope he doesn't come through. That'll be a penalty. He's going to drive through. That'll be a penalty for exiting a closed pit. Perhaps, maybe not, Jared.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how that's going to stack out. It's going to be very interesting to see.
Generally, when the cars come through the start-finish area, they will temporarily close the exit of pit road. If you see it, you've got to stop and wait for the field to go by. I'm not saying that did occur, but it looked pretty close to me.
Yeah, and he's dropping to the end of the field, so I think there is, I think he did get that go to the end of the longest line penalty there. So Herb going to be trapped a lap down now, but there's only 2 cars 1 lap down, Ricky Williams and himself.
And
so,
they're both falling back.
Yeah, not sure. Whiting on pit road here on the second time by. He's 3 laps down. Corey Brustkirk, just to update, that car is getting repaired, but I don't think, he's going to be several laps down, but he is not retired. We did lose Ratliff. We have lost Rachel Hunt officially now. So I think, we're down to 22 cars, Dean. Still a long way to go. This race is a marathon. It's a lot of laps, surprising amount. 140 still to go. So we'll see if we can get some green flag laps in.
Absolutely. Here in the hymn of heaven, Perri 175, honoring Perri. We'll get a look in on our sponsor for tonight, Bryce Reiner. Try and find a decent shot. If we can get on the car in front of him, that is La Prime.
Green flag, green flag.
And we're not going to be able to get that great shot for you right now.
Good start by Paul Travis there. Adam Newton battling on the outside. Walker going to let him down. Everybody else doing a good job. But Reiner almost got in the back of somebody back there. That was the 50 of LaPrime, but he does get through that. A little bit of a checkup back there.
Heavy racing in the middle part of the field. A-Bear underneath of Jackson. Everybody else kind of getting it sorted out. In front of him, you got Bruce underneath of Tony Ratliff, or Jason Ratliff, sorry. So many Ratliffs.
3 of them, to be exact.
I think there's probably more out there somewhere, Jared, and they're coming.
They're all in RGR. The Paul K, man, oh man.
Yeah, he just set the best lap of the race, Jared.
24.6, 6.8. Newton 8.38. Nobody else in the 8s except Maurer at an 8.87. Bruce at 8.74, so I missed a couple there, but that is a big lap from Paul Travis.
Yeah, he's feeling this track, boy. He is just scooting away like it's nothing. You know, Newton, known to be better on the long run. We'll see how this plays out. Like you said, a ton of laps remaining here. These guys got to settle in here, and this is far from over.
Yeah, and the thing about Rockingham is it is a long pit window. I don't know the number, but I want to say it's somewhere in the 80 to 90 lap range from what I remember. So, you know, going off that terrible remembrance on my end, I mean, you still have at least one more stop left in here without any cautions.
Absolutely. Shout out to Honeyman Gaming out there in YouTube. Appreciate you.
Right now, everybody kind of calm, you know, and I think those 2 back-to-back cautions have kind of got the feel a little bit, you know, ready to kind of see what they can do on a long run.
Oh, and Spear's around, Jason Spear, and he's up into him. Oh, no. That's Wrecker involved and a hard lick at the end by Ricky Williams. Oh, boy.
Oh, and that's a tough situation there. Oh my goodness.
So he's fine. He filers in, and Beller gets underneath them and just sends them. And behind him, LaPrime into Wrecker, and Ricky Williams late there. Wow.
Yeah, I just don't understand. So let's, you know, looking at this wreck, let's start at the beginning here before I get too deep in the weeds. I think Spear was trying to cut down underneath Ottaviani off there. Thought he was clear inside. Beller was already there. It looked like both of them were moving, but Beller does check up pretty heavily. Wrecker checks up pretty heavily. They were all fine. I mean, Spear would have gotten a little damage out of that, but boy, oh boy, LaPrime just, I mean, I'm sorry, like, I just don't understand how you fail to use the brakes that deep into the corner.
Well, that's kind of what they say when they call ARCA braking, correct, Jared?
It is, and I'm not trying to be critical, but that's borderline inexcusable in my book. I mean, you're still 140 miles an hour going to the corner. I just don't get it, and it damaged 2 cars that were going to be fine through the wreck, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair. You know, I mean, we try to be as fair as we can in here. And when we see the speed coming into a wreck late, that's usually something we'll try and point out a little bit. LaPrime will make those adjustments, I'm sure. And I'm sure he's sick about it, Jared.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all a learning process, right? I mean, I get it. Like I said, not trying to be critical, but man, it sucks when you're in wrecker's shoes and you do everything right. You're like, I'm reading the wreck. There's going to be a wreck. The next guy behind me is about a half a second to a second behind me. You know, he'll probably see the wreck too, so I shouldn't get hit, and then you get taken into the wreck, and that sucks.
It really does. It's tough out here.
Oh my.
So there's
Sorry,
Jared,
Very
Jared's
confused.
being flashed on the air. That's why you said, "Oh my."
No, I kind of had the IndyCar race in the background, and I look over, and there's a car upside down, and another one up on the fence, and I have no idea what happened.
I tell you, folks, these broadcasters they bring in here. Last week it was Barron watching. I'm pretty sure it was dog racing. Nonetheless, and
Wow,
by the
there
way,
you go.
Barron, if you are listening, I gotta remember to go look that up. YouTube for your enjoyment, folks. Jack Russell Terriers racing, apparently a thrill of a lifetime. We're back, green flag racing. This time Newton hanging tough with Paul Travis. Travis, though, a much better corner, and he will walk away.
Yeah, and everybody else tight there. Walker trying to hold off on the bottom. Can't quite do it. Bauer's going to roll by the outside. Right behind him is Darren Bruce, who's been one of the faster cars all race that isn't in the top two. And Bruce trying to pass Walker on the outside. Walker's going to let him have it off the four.
Yeah, Bruce absolutely flying up 13 spots on the evening into fourth. So the big dogs coming to the front. Will they have something for Paul Travis Sr.? Bruce trying to make a move on Maurer, down to the low side. He gets some bite somehow and drives right on through. So Maurer will slip to fourth, Walker back to fifth. It's Greg Ratliff sixth, James A. Bear, Jason Ratliff, Bryce Reiner in the top 10 with that title sponsor car. You know, the Hymn of Heaven. And I keep forgetting, I'm so sorry, the Hymn of Heaven, Perri, 175. Perri riding on the hood with Mr. Bryce Reiner tonight. And I think that is a great place to ride. If you're going to ride with someone, it might as well be Mr. Bryce Reiner.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been coming through the field all night, Dean.
And those of you here tonight or in future days watching, for Perri, I'm sure, I mean, everything we hear, he was one of the most liked people around. Everybody enjoyed his company, and he will be sorely missed. We settle in a little bit now, Jared, and it looks like, you know, you look at someone like Walker the second has been shuffled back a little bit. Does this rattle him here, Jared, as we go on board?
No, I don't think so. I think you know, the way he was driving earlier in this race, I think he knows what he has at this point. But I also think, you know, some of these guys that didn't qualify good have also found some pace too. So there's kind of a 50-50 there, right? Walker still kind of got jumped on the restart for being on the bottom there. And at the same time, you got some guys that have been fast all day, like Darren Bruce, that had better track position.
All right, as we ride with Walker, and it's fascinating to watch this track, Jared. I don't think in real life I could drive this track. It is just too jarring.
Yeah, luckily, I mean, it was only like this for a couple years back when they scanned it, which was in 2011 or 2012. And I think they ran a truck race here then, and they ran some late, like cars tour late mile races. Then it was inactive, and they repaved it after they got some grant money. So what it is now is not like it is in the surface.
Go back to another group led by, looks like Tom Ashley. Herb Ashley actually in front of it, but he is a couple laps down. You got Tom Ashley, Beller, Gilly, and Dibble. How about George Dibble? I was just going to talk about him during before the break, or before the caution. The 94 McDonald's machine here up 12 spots here this evening.
Yeah, what a job by George Dibble, just getting it to the front and just staying out of trouble, right? I mean, that's the big key. Staying out of trouble, keep a clean nose on that machine, and be there at the end.
Yeah, most definitely. Got to keep her clean here this evening. So Dibble looking good. Eric Beller just a couple of spots in front of him. He's picked up 10-4, looking good, trying to bring that University of Kentucky machine forward.
And he got through that race, that wreck pretty well with Spear.
Yeah, he's kept that shine on the machine. You know, I keep looking at it to see how my hair is, Jared.
Absolutely.
Got to have a nice do up here in the booth. And of course, Bryce Reiner up 10 spots. So those are our big movers still around 10th place. But Darren Bruce up in third now to the back of Adam Newton. And he is up 14, the biggest mover in the field.
And you look at Darren Bruce, he is hunting down Newton right now. And the top three have kind of stepped out. Newton, Travis's lead has kind of maintained at this point. Can, Bruce get around Newton and start making inways to Travis? I think that's going to be the next step in this race's evolution.
Well, this is something that Bruce, I want to talk a little bit about his mastery, what he's great at. And I almost look at him like a chameleon, right? He comes to Rockingham here, and I happen to know in practice he followed Newton around a little bit, kind of got the lay of the land. And what he'll do is he'll learn your line and then drive it better than you do. It can be a little annoying at times. Jared.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's no line there.
But great driver and very adaptable, and he learns really fast. He is up into third. Maurer pacing himself in fourth. You got to think he'll be a factor too before it's all said and done, Jared.
Yeah, and you look at the lap times. Last time by, Maurer was the quickest, 3.63. Nobody else anywhere close except Bear at a 4.94. That's right. That's almost 2/10 quicker than everybody in front of him. So Maurer has a little bit in the tank. Now that time around, Maurer was back to running the same lap times. Paul K, bad lap last time around, and you're seeing it there on the screen as Newton is caught to the back end of the 88.
Wow. All of a sudden, we got ourselves a race as that machine perhaps going away for Paul K. Travis. Unfortunate. I wouldn't expect it the way he was running, but there goes Newton. The Bulldog down low looking for the race lead. Side by side they go.
Yeah, and Travis's machine just looked really unsettled off the corner, turn 4, and that allowed that opening for Newton that he needed to take into turn 1. Let's see what happens here. 4 again, a little bit of wiggle on that high side, but it's bringing Nathan Maurer up here, and I don't think any of these guys want Nathan Maurer up in this battle.
No, that's
really
the
high.
thing. You're going to bring them all in here. You keep running side by side, you're going to bring more. Michael Walker looking to come back up here. Greg Ratliff,
Yeah.
James A. Bear. They're all coming.
Look at the lap times for our top 3 that last time by. 8, flat, 9. That's the top 3 lap times. That's how much they slowed down just by battling side by side. Almost a half a second slower than they were 2 laps earlier, Dean. That is insane as Newton does clear the 88.
Yeah, watch out. Newton's got clear track now. Maurer looks underneath the Bruce. So Maurer all of a sudden getting a little bit racy. Bruce going to let him go. So we have our first lead change of the night, and that brings the Bulldog up front. Now Paul Travis Sr. will set to chasing, and Maurer running the bottom, something you talked about, Jared. It already looks like it's paying off, and Paul Travis into the wall.
Oh, and that's going to set everything up, Dean, and I'll tell you what, this is what Newton wants, is some struggles to get around Travis, because Travis is not letting these other guys go easily, which he doesn't have to, but it's starting to stack everything up. As you see, Bruce, he let Maurer go because he knew Maurer could get underneath of the 88 a little bit easier, and you see right there off the corner, side by side, Bruce with the big run too. Where does he go? Has to let out.
I mean, Bruce is going to be the next guy to get stuck there. Maurer, keep trying here. He's going to get clear, and he does barely slip up in front.
Yeah, Travis not letting him go easy.
Oh,
Oh, Travis hits the wall in the straightaway.
Yeah, he is distracted and out of sorts as that machine starts to go away on him. He's not going to be happy. He'll be looking for a pit stop. Caution is what he's really looking for. So the Bulldog out front. Maurer into second. Bruce third. Travis fourth. Here comes Walker the second, and he's bringing the big dog, number 5, Greg Ratliff, with him.
Yeah, and I wondered, when I saw that the lap times Travis was running at the early part of this run, I wondered if he was running his stuff off, and I think now we're starting to see his Walker loose underneath of him. That's going to open the door for Ratliff to get on the high side.
And he tank slapped that wall again, Jared. So Travis, he's beating up the outside of that car a little bit.
Yeah, and what a move by Greg Ratliff as he goes from the high side to get around the 22 of Walker and then drops to the inside of Paul Travis. Big battle back there.
Unbelievable. The 5, a man on the mission, and he's bringing his brother, the rifleman, with him. So everybody's coming. Here comes Reiner out of nowhere.
My goodness, man. Greg Ratliff got so loose on the bottom there. I don't know if he clipped the apron or what, but that car was wrecking loose, and all of a sudden, Reiner's there, like you said. Jason Ratliff is there, like you said. Bear's here. I mean, we got the whole family in this battle, Dean.
We certainly do. So racing room is what we're looking for. Hard to come by. Greg down low. Paul Travis up high. So Greg's going to get clear right now. Now it's going to be up to Jason Ratliff. See if he can get clear. And Travis just can't keep up momentum. He looks so dominant for so long.
And look at the lap times, Dean. Those top 3 got through Paul K. Travis, Dean, and they set sail. They got a 2-second lead on Greg Ratliff because Greg Ratliff wasn't able to get through nearly as quickly, and it's opened up that massive gap. This is what always happens in these racetracks is you got a guy that kind of falls through the field, and all of a sudden you start to get gaps develop because they're not able. It's kind of like a clot or something that's breaking it up, and you're seeing it right now, right? I mean, as these guys get clear, they're able to set sail.
Oh no, an Bear into the wall. Trouble. James Bear has wrecked it. He got into the outside wall, came down, collected someone else, and he ended up in the inside wall. Let's get a look at it.
Yeah, no caution for that either, Dean. He gets it going. He didn't stop on the track like we had in our first caution, so we continue under green.
Yeah, and he got into Michael Walker. Walker with an excellent job of hanging on to that machine. Not really that much damage for Michael Walker, but he does fall back to 11th now. And like you said, surprisingly, no caution. The Bulldog remains out front.
Yeah, this track very notorious, for cautions not coming out there. I don't know why, but just doesn't happen very much on the back straightaway there at least. And you're seeing it there. And the first time, Tony, I think, stopped on the track and may have brought the caution out. And this time, Bear, there was an anybody back there. So even when he was stopped on the track, it just didn't register a caution.
Well, unfortunate for some, but you talked about it. Spacing is going to be a thing now. Everybody getting spaced out. Reiner hooking up the fast line that's high down to low. He had a whole track to deal with that time, and he whooped up some speed, and he's going to drive right around Greg Ratliff. So Reiner up to 4th, and he sets sail to charge and try and find the others, about 2.5 seconds ahead of him.
Yeah, I think Greg Ratliff saw the big run that Reiner had off of turn 2 and just kind of opened up the high side for him to go through. You see, he's not running as high on the back straightaway as the other guys are, so I think he likes his line. I think he likes where he's racing, and he's not really willing to block or try to play defense. He just wants to run his race.
We got the Ratliffs fighting, and we got Honeyman Gaming out there asking, is it open or fixed? This is fixed here at RGR Racing. Other battles forming, Jackson, Brantley, Otto Viani, and Paul Travis in that group as well. He's fallen to 11th.
Yeah, and that little bit of a battle that we had there with Paul K. Travis kind of dropping through the field, it really separated this field out. And now we've kind of gotten back into that rhythm where everybody's really not fighting anybody. Our closest battle right now is Brantley and Jason Jackson. Maybe Ottaviani could get involved in that mix as well, but everybody else pretty well spaced out right now. Nobody really in a big battle yet.
Well, when we hop on board here, Jared, with Jason Brantley, maybe you can just talk a little bit about, at this point in the run, what these guys are feeling underneath them.
Yeah, absolutely. As we go down into turn number 3, apologies there, and you get on board with that car, look how much that thing bounces around. I mean, that is a tough feeling in the car. Let me tell you how much it bounces around. Go up on the front straightaway here, and you're going to want to kind of run the high side this late in the run, Dean, because you want to just kind of drift it in just like that. He's doing a little bit of a narrow diamond. Maybe he's got a little bit more grip in that car than we've seen in the past. But great run off the corner there for Brantley as he's following Jason Jackson. But right through here, I mean, this is very difficult to just kind of focus through these corners, Dean, because of how bumpy it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's very discombobulating, Jared.
Brantley, good move there, and you see him just kind of wash to the middle and just get enough of a run there. Lets the car roll. That's something that a lot of guys don't want to do. They don't want to be patient through that corner. Brantley doing a very nice job being patient through the center of that corner and not overdoing it and letting the car come to him, and that's key at this track, Dean.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you see it with the guys up front, Newton leading and Maurer. These two in particular really know how to let that car roll those corners, Jared.
Doing a great job as Ottaviani gets around Beller, who hits the wall. He's sliding down the track.
Beller into the inside wall, heavy damage. That car a mess, no caution again. Beller, oh wait a minute, there'll be one now. He's up the track and still no caution. Unbelievable. So he's got to get on pit road, but I don't think he's going to. Beller tries to stay with it, Jared.
So right there, peculiar thing about this track is the backstretch wall does not have a safer barrier, and it juts in right there. And I think Beller was kind of wrapping around the wall, and he hit the wall right where the safer barrier ends, and it launched him into the regular wall, which caused him to slide down the track. Very unfortunate situation there for Beller, and he is taking that Ford machine to pit road from top 10 position.
Yeah, he's going to slide well back. He might even be done for the evening. Meanwhile, Adam Newton out front, about to start lap 85 of 175. Actually, I'm on the backstretch, so we'll get to lap 85 of 175 shortly, Jared. Just approaching halfway here, and this thing, we're still a little uncertain how this is going to shake out.
Yeah, lap times that time around, 192 for Newton, 132 for Maurer, 111 for Bruce. Those are 26s. But then you have Reiner running a 25.9. So Reiner 0.2 quicker than all these guys. And I think I heard Greg Ratliff come on the radio say he is pitting.
All right, so Greg Ratliff looking to come in. I don't know. That would be a little bit early.
Yeah, he did not pit, so he must have said something else, but I could have sworn he said pit, and maybe he just accidentally keyed up by accident in game.
We look in on the 87 of Bryce Reiner, and that's for you, Craig, out in YouTube land. He is here to root on that 87 and probably root on Perri by extension. Of course, we are running the Hymn of Heaven, Perri 175, in honor of him this evening. Picture on the hood. Reiner up 15 spots into 4th position.
Oh, and Ottaviani smacks the wall in the middle of 1 and 2, Dean, and he was closing in on Brantley and Jackson and just walloped the wall. So tough. This is the time of the run. We were kind of talking about earlier in the pre-race. 40 to 50 laps into the run, Dean, where the tires start to kind of go away, and you're starting to see who is saved a little bit in the tank.
Yeah, I mean, we could clearly see from Paul Travis that racing out to an early lead just did not pay off, Jared. He's currently in 12th.
And he did a 27.1 that lap. That is our first 27-second lap, but That is a massive fallout from the 24.4s he was running at the beginning of the or 24.6s he was running at the beginning of this run.
So Newton steadily in the 26.2s, our top three pretty much mirroring each other with lap times, but Reiner faster by almost a tenth and a half, Jared.
Yeah, I think Reiner was able to save a little bit more because he was kind of coming through the field. But the thing about it, and we've seen it already tonight, getting to somebody is easy. Passing them is very hard, and it can really separate out those gaps. So I'll be interested to see if Maurer or Bruce, if it comes down to it, how hard they fight Bryce Reiner for position here.
All right, let's go back to the Ratlifts. You got Jason Ratliff in 5th, Greg Ratliff 6th. There's Jason Jackson with Jason Brantley 7th and 8th. Otto Vanni in 9th. And Michael Walker, another guy who was running up front early, he is back in 10th position.
And looking on Facebook, we got Brian Rainville out here saying good evening on the Facebook side. So we got a lot of viewers out here tonight, Dean, watching some great action here at the Rock.
Mr. Rainville, a name I haven't heard in a very long time. Good to see Brian out there watching. Hope you're enjoying the show.
Well, when Reiner hits the wall in the middle of turn 1 and 2, I do wonder, Dean, watching him get a run off the corner, I wonder if there's a little bit of netcode contact there. He may not have actually hit the wall, but there is some tracks that's notorious for showing that you're hitting, but you're actually not hitting as he gets around Darren Bruce for 3rd.
Yeah, I've had people tell me I'm hitting the wall when I don't think I am, Jared. I don't know if that's truth or not. Now you're confusing me.
Yeah, there is a known issue with some what they call netcode contact with the wall, so I wouldn't be surprised.
All right, so Reiner got around Bruce fairly easily. I'm not sure if Bruce gave it to him or not. Looked like Reiner was just pretty hooked up on entry there and zoomed on by. So put him up to 3rd, and he's working on Maurer. I mean, Reiner doing Reiner things. What do you do? Oh, and up in the wall, Whiting there on the high side. Okay, lap car. I thought that was Adam Newton for a minute.
Yeah, and Whiting trying to get out of the way. He does a pretty decent job there.
And you see Reiner there go up high. This is a known way to get
Maurer's
speed.
on pit road.
Yeah, Maurer cuts down. He's going to pit here on lap 95. I love this call by Nate Maurer.
That was smart. He's like, so Reiner's caught me. I'm going to have to get on pit road. I've already lost time to Reiner. Now I have to make up time on the front end of this run and hope he can't catch me up. And I think that's a really smart play. If he's already passed you and caught you, you might as well come to pit road.
Get a look in on Maurer safely into his stall. So the leader, Newton, now decisions to make. How far do you go, Jared? I know these guys love to go long.
I would go as long as I could. I mean, for Newton, you're 3/10 slower than Reiner that last lap, but make Reiner catch you at the very minimum. And as he's trying to pass you, or as he passes you, then you pit. But you don't pit before, Reiner has caught you, in my opinion, at the very minimum.
Little battle further back. Well, there was. Greg Ratliff just dropped like a rock on exit, but he was battling with Jason Jackson and Otto Viani. He might have gave it to him there and let him go. So cars coming, cars going. Reiner hunting our leader, the Bulldog, Adam Newton, and we got a yellow flag out on the track. Travis, smoke in the air.
Oh, no.
So Travis on the high side, Gilly down low, and Gilly up and into him and just massages him around. Wow.
Yeah, that's a weird one. It looked like kind of they got hooked or something, Dean, because it looked like this wreck was happening the entire corner before finally, Gilly just kind of spun him out. I don't know if those cars got hooked together or something.
Well,
I
I think he was lifting, but just slowing down versus braking hard. Hard to say for certain, but it was a little bit odd. So we got a caution now, and we've got, Nate Maurer trapped a lap down. So Maurer hurt. A-Bear a lap down. Spears a lap down. and all of our leaders will be coming in. This is going to shake things up here, Jared.
Yeah, and I hate that for Maurer because he's going to he'll get the lucky dog, I believe, Dean, but then that's going to put him at the end of this line, and it's really unfortunate for that 60 machine who is battling in the top 5, and now he's going to have to work his way through the field. He will get fresh tires, though. He'll probably come back on pit road.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt he even takes the tires. Maybe he will. They probably have enough that he can afford to take them. Yeah, very unfortunate for Maurer, no doubt. Battle on pit road, going to be between Newton and Reiner. And you see Newton has the stall advantage, but let's go back to Reiner here, who's already down and away. Here he comes. Can Newton get off of pit road? There he goes, so Newton holds him off.
Yeah, it wasn't very close either. I thought it might be close, but it really wasn't. But now, with Reiner in a much better spot, Dean, I have to wonder, as these guys like, Bruce and Newton and even Maurer and, the Ratliffs, have they made any adjustments? Watching how Reiner raced through the field by being conservative, can these guys make adjustments to kind of hold him off? Because Reiner's a tough guy. I mean, he's dominated this series. He's been probably the best driver consistently. So I wonder, did Newton make any mental adjustments for this next run?
Yeah, I'm sure Newton did, and Newton's going to try and pace him a little bit. My concern for Reiner is the guys behind, everybody behind the front row. What are their thoughts? I mean, here's the way I look at it, Jared. I can't beat Bryce Reiner at Bryce Reiner games. Okay, saving, being smooth, all that. But I can sure as heck beat him on a short run. So I'm going to get out here and put some pressure on him. And I wonder how many of these guys will do that. Reiner might lose 3, 4, 5 spots in the early portions of this run.
Yeah, and I think if you're somebody, in the middle of this field or somebody in the back half of the top 5, hopefully somebody else takes up that mantle and battles them hard, and you can just sit back and relax and pick them both.
Right. So you want to use me, is what you're saying, Jared?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to.
You don't got enough money, Jared. Here we go, Adam Newton, and the down and green. Quick starts here, so good start by him. Bruce will come underneath the Reiner. How hard does Reiner go? I don't know. It looks like he wants to hold second. He knows how important this could be, but Bruce going to come through, it looks like. Here comes the Rifleman.
Yeah, Ratliff of the Jason variety tried to go to the low side there, but Reiner goes to the high side, has a good run off the corner. Everybody else single filed out pretty quickly.
Yeah, so the Reiner, really, this is about as good as he would expect here to fall into third with the way he drives. And you see him down on that yellow line. He's going to be patient here for 20 laps, Jared, and then watch out. So Bruce and Newton, KG vets, are aware of this as well. Do they counter?
Yeah, they have to. Oh, Bruce gets really high. I'm pretty sure he did actually hit the wall there off of turn 4. I don't think that was net code.
I mean, Newton just set the fastest lap of the race, so I'm not sure he's trying to counter the long run speeds.
I think that's a bad decision. The other two guys ran 8s. He ran a 6. And we saw what happened to Paul Travis last time that happened.
He did indeed. So Newton going to give it a go here and try and get away a little bit and hang on. Now Bruce back to fighting Reiner again. But Reiner with a great entrance. That high side, you can really get in there if you go in on the high side, Jared.
Yeah, there's a technique to turn 1 and 2, and if you can do it, you're going to be really fast. If you miss it by a hair, you're not going to be fast. You're going to be probably clipping the apron off of turn 2.
Well, yeah, it's very finite. It's when you're trying to teach someone, Jared, you're talking about inches between being good and being bad.
Reiner not great through that corner that time. And you saw, if you were paying attention there, he entered low and kind of got his lefts on the apron on entry, and that kind of upset the entire corner, and that's allowed Bruce to roll back to his back bumper on the front straightaway.
Yeah, Bruce putting him under heat. Reiner going to let him go. He's seen enough. Either you want to go, go. I got no ambition to go right now with 70 laps to go. There's Jason Ratliff. Jason Brantley now finds himself in 5th. Jason Jackson in 6th. Otto Viani back up here. Greg Ratliff, Tom Ashley, and Walker the second under heat from Maurer for 10th. Dibble right in that mix.
And these guys won't have to pit, at least if they're under green. There will be no more pit stops. I'm pretty sure that is done for the night. So unless there's a caution, we won't see the pit crews do anything else from here on out with 70, little less than 70 to go. They have rolled back to Newton, though. Bruce is there. I wonder if Bruce has used up his stuff, too, Dean. I mean, this is going to be interesting. Is Reiner saving? You know, you can be fast, Dean, and I know there's some people on the service that can do it. I'm not the greatest at it, but you can be fast and still save your stuff. You just have to be fast at the right time of the run. And right now, I wonder if Bruce is finding that.
Well, what I think Bruce is, he's just throwing caution into the wind. He's going because I can just tell the way that car is moving out there. He is not holding back anything.
Bruce is here to race. They're here to win, and they don't care about finishing second or third or 20th. They want W's.
W's is where it's at. That's where the women are at, Jared. They don't go meet up with the second place driver.
I thought they were in the lot.
They could be.
Garage pit area.
Well, are we talking about my women or your women?
A woman.
A woman. I mean, I scour around the track, Jared, looking for beauties.
Absolutely.
So Newton, your race leader here on lap 112, 175. Bruce hanging right with them, and Reiner pacing, waiting to strike. Jason Ratliff and Jason Brantley doing a nice job. Everybody single file through the field right now.
Yeah, you look at these lap times, flats from their top 3. Brantley with the flat last time by. Let's see what we got the line as they update here. Newton, a 997, basically a flat from Bruce, flat from Reiner, a 194 from Ratliff, and a flat from Brantley. Then you slip back in the 2s with Jackson and Ottaviani, almost a 2. Ratliff with a 1. So a little bit all over the place there, but Brantley with some speed right now. I'm kind of impressed with his speed. He's really came alive here in the second run.
I'd say he's really come to life in the second half of this season, Jared. I mean, he just see another guy that is steadily improving. The 3 becoming a real contender here.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely shown some speed. I mean, Dover, earlier in the year, I thought that was his turning point. He had an opportunity to finish on a podium for the first time, led some laps there. And I think tonight he might be a dark horse for a podium, Dean.
All right, well, Raleigh's out there rooting him on, and we got Bebop Computer out there saying, let's go 63.
Herb Ashley, yeah, doing a good job in 18th there. Did get caught up in an accident earlier, so he is 5 laps down, but lap times have been good. He's just trapped a lot of laps down because of that incident.
Yeah, very unfortunate here for the Whataburger machine. I mean, I like that. Whataburger? Whataburger? I don't know how you say it, Jared. I'm a Canadian.
Yeah, we don't have those in my area either, so you're asking the wrong guy.
But I'll take one nonetheless. I mean,
a
like
burger's a burger.
That's it. Lettuce or no lettuce, Jared?
Lettuce or no lettuce?
Yeah.
You gotta have lettuce.
Gotta have lettuce. You heard it. There it is, folks. I mean, for those who won't have lettuce, you can put some potato chips on it, okay?
I mean, that's wild. That's a wild thought. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you.
Well, you gotta put a few on there and give it a shot.
Well, I mean, look, I don't want to get derailed here, but get you a nice chili dog and throw some hot barbecue chips on there, and then let me know, because it is a life-changing experience.
Wow, okay. So we gone from hot dog to chili dog with the chips. I like it, Jared.
I haven't had burger. I'll try that. I'm willing to try it,
All right. The tuna sandwich with chips on it. Now that's just different. That turns a poor man's dinner into a delicacy.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically like, eating at a 5-star Michelin restaurant at that point.
Back to racing. We got a bit of a log jam here, and look who's in the middle of it, the 60 of Nate Maurer. You seen he got trapped by that caution, so he's got a ton of work to do right now, working on Tom Ashley riding that U.S. Army machine.
Yeah,
or Air
and
Force.
Maurer,
My apologies, U.S. Air
Yeah.
Force.
Maurer doing a good job. I think he's being patient. You know, I think he's not in a hurry yet because he saw how Reiner was patient. Reiner was a little bit further ahead, but not too much further ahead of where Maurer was the last run, right? So I think that, you know, he's trying to be patient here and try to pick his way through this field as easy as he can and save as much as he can in the tank.
Yeah, he's waiting for that change. There goes Maurer down to the bottom. You can see it on our cam there. He made a good move down there, and he's going to make this pass. So I think the time is now for Maurer, and I think he thinks that as well. Out front, though, Newton and Bruce still leading. Reiner has fallen about 1.5 seconds back of Bruce, and the rifleman, Jason Ratliff, and Jason Brantley hanging tough with Reiner.
Yeah, Reiner right now, I think he's got a target lap time he wants, and that's probably a 25.4, and he's running right around that every time. He's like, I don't want to go faster than 25.4. I don't want to go slower than a 25.4, but, you know, within, you know, a little bit. And he's really stuck to that. The last 3 or 4 laps have been basically the same lap within about a half a tenth every time.
Now, is that something you'll use, Jared? Is a kind of a pick a lap time, and you'll say this is what I want to run the next, say, 20 laps at?
Yeah, in this car, yeah, 100%. This is, you know, out of all the NASCAR vehicles that are on the service, this is the car, Dean, that you have to manage tire wear and tire heat. So yeah, you have to pick a lap time and kind of set your pace there and just kind of let the race develop from there. The truck's a little bit less, and the next gen car, yeah, you set a lap time, but you're not really worrying about wear. You're worrying about trying to keep heat out of that car, which is a little bit more complex than managing this car.
Right now, Jason Ratliff kind of closing in on Reiner. Reiner on entry there a little better. On exit, it's Ratliff a little bit better. Paul Travis comes down pit road, so unfortunate for Paul. He's going in for some more service.
Yeah, I don't know if that car is just not handling, or, you know, maybe he's thinking he can do a short run here and maybe try to pick up some time because the lap time fall off. You know, I don't know. We'll see how that pans out, or he might have some terminal damage there. Might be pulling to the garage.
Honeyman Gaming out here with the grilled tuna cheese sandwich. And Kerry Bruce rooting on Mr. Darren Bruce. Of course, Kerry out there watching all the races, or most of them anyway, for Darren, and we certainly appreciate you being here. And to all your visiting grandkids in the house and everything else, we just like to say a big hello from Wind Tunnel TV.
Absolutely. Bruce has done a good job, Dean. I mean, we talked about him earlier. He had some great lap times, but really this run, he has just kept Newton honest, right? He's maintained a gap. He hasn't tried to run Newton down. He hasn't tried to battle with Newton ever since he got around Reiner, and he's really just kind of kept Newton honest. Hasn't allowed him to really slow up, hasn't allowed him to kind of get ahead of him by too much. So right now the lap times are coming down for both of those cars, and they're coming up for Reiner and Ratliff, who have pulled away from Brantley in 5th.
Well, Jared, I'm going to bring this up too. Newton and Bruce on the same radio, communicating, teammates, part of that Team Spear enterprise. How important is it? How helpful is it when you've got one guy who really knows the track and he's kind of talking you through what's going on?
Well, I think that's super helpful, and you can kind of collaborate or corroborate on a strategy, and you know, maybe that's what they're doing is, you know, hey, this is the lap. This is what we need to do here. We need to save as much as we can because we know Reiner's going to mount a charge here, and it looks like Reiner might be mounting that charge now.
Yeah, I'd say him and Ratliff both have turned it up a little bit here. Reiner with a 6.6. Jason Ratliff just a 7.7, but he's hanging in there. I think this lap they'll be a little closer together here. We'll wait for those results.
Newton a 6.7, Bruce an 8.4, Reiner 7.0, and Ratliff a 7.3. So absolutely, the handling has kind of gone away on that 15 machine, I think, as he has dropped off of the back of Newton's car.
Well, we could kind of see it, right? With this to be expected. The 15 looked like he was pushing the car a little more than Newton, and he's hit the wall, pushing it too hard. Bruce down through the grass. He's going to hang on. He's locking that thing up real good, but there'll be no caution. He's got to get going. And wow, Bauer by. Walker the second goes by. Bruce slides into 10th or 11th right now. Make that 12th and counting.
Dibble's going to get by him. He's going to slot in ahead of Jason Spear there around 13th, 14th position. So that is a heartbreaking for Bruce, but he did a great job holding on to it. Didn't hit anything, but he's going to need a caution to get back into this race.
Yeah, that's bad timing with the fans out there watching, but just know Darren Bruce always in the thick of things, and he'll get his victories tonight. Probably not meant to be. Also, this is bad news for Newton because Reiner's got clear track in front of him now, Jared.
Yeah, and that's not good. At least, Bruce might have been dropped a little bit, was probably going to be passed by Reiner one way or another, but at least there was some dirty air there. Now there's nothing, and really Reiner's in a pocket where he's getting basically clean air. Like there's a little bit of dirty air there around a second, 1.1 seconds, but it's very limited. But as Reiner continues to go forward, he'll have that dirty air affecting him. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, Reiner has an opportunity to put down some good laps. He hasn't done it though, Dean.
Well, and I'm getting called out on YouTube. Bebop says I cursed him. I have that power. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to use it.
Sometimes with great power, Dean, comes great responsibility.
Yeah, I never learned that part of it. I didn't have an uncle.
You just had great power, and you're like, yeah, responsibility will come later.
That's right. I've always said responsibility comes later, Jared.
So ahead of Newton, there are two cars battling. That is 15th place James Hebert and 14th place or 16th place Eric Whiting. They were side by side. It looks like they've gotten that sorted out, but they are going to have to be dealt with, one way or another here in probably in a matter of a handful of laps.
Yeah, Whiting shown in front of Hebert on the track, but behind him in the standings. So some laps down difference there between Hebert and Whiting. Looks like Whiting's starting to get away a little bit. Newton should be coming up on them right here shortly.
Yeah, that's going to affect the handling just a little bit. Now, Paul Travis is wrapping around the outside of Reiner. That's going to slow Reiner up a little bit as Paul Travis has those fresher tires. He is 7 laps down, though, Dean. So I think his night, he has an opportunity to maybe gain one spot, it looks like, and that's about it.
Yeah, and that did hurt Reiner a little bit. It was a 9.1 to a 9.2 the lap prior. This time a 9.3 to an 0.6, so about a tenth he lost there. And now Newton will have to deal with it as Travis comes up on him.
Whiting does a great job, gets all the way down to the apron. He's like, I'm going to get out of the way of all these guys. I'm 3 laps down, no reason to be in the thick of it. And looks like he might be actually just coming to pit road, period.
Yeah, he's coming in. Newton being pinned to the bottom here by Travis, and this is allowing Reiner this time to have the better lap, so Reiner closes in a little bit more. And remember, this race here, the hymn of heaven, Perri 175, Bryce Reiner with Perri on the hood of that machine here this evening, and of course this race in honor of his memory. And one of the iracing community guys, he'll sorely be missed by friends, family, and the community, Jared.
Absolutely, and that gives you some extra motivation if you're Bryce Reiner, right? Not that he needed any. I think he wants to win races regardless, but when you have that out there and you have that emotion attached to the race and everything that goes along with that, I think that gives you a little bit extra motivation and maybe a little extra help, Dean, if you believe in the paranormal or things like that, to get there.
Well, I would say I believe in God and I believe in spirit of the people in heaven. But
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, what I want to speak on right now is Jason Ratliff here, Jared, in the 55. You know, he's held court with Reiner this whole run. How about that for the rifleman? I mean, we've seen a lot of different racing styles from him. The high speed early, the fall off. We've seen the long run version of him. This seems to be the best version of the rifleman right here.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Jason has learned a lot as the season has gone on. He's not a full-time racer in this series, and, you know, sometimes it's kind of hard to find your momentum, right, when you're not racing full-time or anything like that. So I think there's a lot of opportunity that he's learning in this race, but we've seen him do good at tracks like Darlington, and we've seen him do good at tracks like Dover, and this track is kind of in that same vein.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing just almost in shock, not at Jason Ratliff's ability. It's because Reiner so good on the long run. I mean, to hang with him this far into a run is a feat in its own self. Jason doing a great job, and I don't think he's content with just hanging with them. He's trying to size up, hey, how can I get up here and beat him? Newton trying to hold them off, matching flats last time by, Jared.
Yeah, great job there, too.
So that time in 06, and Reiner with a 25.98, a little quicker.
So 30 laps to go, Dean, going down to 29 at the line. Boy, oh boy.
We bring up those lap times for you guys to see on our tower there. To see who's running what times. Brantley back here at 26.21. And then Greg Ratliff, Otto Viani's right in there. Jason Jackson starting to heat up a little bit along with Michael Walker. So two guys who seem to have learned a lot from run number one.
And the fastest guy on the track that's on the lead lap was actually Jason Ratliff. He did a 26 flat, just a little bit faster than Newton and Reiner, but that time around, Reiner found a little bit in the tank. But the thing is, Dean, you know, we're getting down to this point where they got to find a little bit more than what they're finding to catch up to Adam Newton.
Well, I mean, if they do catch up, I mean, what's a thousandth of a second going to do for you when you're trying to pass someone down low?
Well, it's going to make it hard, right? I think
it's going to make it really hard. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Now, the inevitable mistake, I'm sure Reiner's trying to get there, because to make Newton make a mistake, you've got to get up there and get on his bumper and challenge him a little bit.
Yeah, kind of force him into a mistake, or, you know, force him into running above his pace. And right now, the top three have really set the pace and set the standard of this race. And we see Herb Ashley on pit road. He was 5 laps down in 16th, so he's going to head to pit road. That's a position that Paul Travis might be able to pick up.
Through the field, you got Otto Viani right behind Greg Ratliff. Well, Brantley, Ratliff, Otto Viani, and Maurer all in a group. This is a good little battle going on here, Jared.
And what I'm liking too, Dean, is these lap cars where Broskirk heads to pit road. They're not even letting the leaders get involved in the battle. They're pulling off. They don't want to affect the race. They want to give these leaders clean track, and they don't want to be a part of it. At least these guys that have been in front of them recently, they've all pulled off and gone to pit road. Love that respect that we're seeing out of those guys.
Wow, we were on board with Maurer. As on entry, he almost got to the back of Otto Viani. He had to do evasive maneuvers up high. Cost him a little time there, but he avoided wrecking.
24 laps to go, and this is the battle, Dean, right now. 4th position. Brantley trying to hold off Greg Ratliff, who's trying to hold off Ottaviani, who's trying to hold off Maurer, who's trying to recover from, getting caught out by that caution.
Ottaviani right behind Greg Ratliff. We're on board watching this battle. I mean, and you see the problems that Reiner's going to have if he gets there. What do? I mean, he can barely hold on to this car, let alone make moves.
Well, I'm surprised in this group that nobody's running the high side of 1 and 2. They're all entering low, wrapping, kind of diamonding a little bit, but it's a real narrow diamond or a shallow diamond. And I think there's an opportunity to go up to the wall, Dean, like we saw Paul Travis do, and get a massive run off the corner. Nobody's really doing that yet in this group.
No, they're not, and I think they should be, Jared, especially when trying to pass, right? Let's get some clean air on it. Let's wrap a lap up there and get a big exit and get underneath someone, or preferably on the high side of them. But up front, Reiner catching up. So Reiner has put it within, I'd say, about 7 car lengths here of Adam Newton and closing.
Ottaviani must have been listening to the broadcast, because he just did what I've been clamoring for this second group to do, Dean, as that battle for the lead's going on.
Yeah, it looked like Greg Ratliff went up there to protect against it, Jared.
Yeah, little Chessett's...
Ooh, and he's in the wall, so Greg goes up high and ends up in the wall. Now Ottaviani down low. Here comes Maurer looking to make it 3 wide. Ottaviani backs out of it.
Yeah, that was bad. Man, oh man, Ottaviani, I think he saw it happening and he was like, well, I don't have anywhere to go except wreck these guys. I'm getting out of it. What a heads-up decision to fight another day.
Well, I think that's why he's so liked around the garage, right? It's the type of thing I try and talk to my guys about, is, you know, just racecraft and thinking it through. If it ain't going to hold, it ain't going to stick, get out of there. Ottaviani with a true pro move right there. Right now, Reiner up to the high side, looking to get a run.
Yeah, now it's on. The battle is on. Reiner has caught up and pulled away from Jason Ratliff. Newton has put a little bit of a speed in. He's found a little speed in the 2 machine by going up to the wall in 1 and 2, like was talking about doing with that second group. But boy, oh boy, he is holding Reiner at bay, and this is going to be a battle. And you wonder, is he going up there too soon, Dean? Is he using his stuff up? Like, these are all questions that are going to be answered here in the next 16 laps.
Well, Newton's no slouch. He's not giving it up. Looked like he just turned the wick up a little bit and pulled a little distance on him there. Look back a little further to check in on Darren Bruce. He now up to 9th as he recovers from that drive through the grass. Wow, Reiner right up by the wall that time. And that might be the case, like you said earlier, if you miss it by just an inch, it's not fast, and maybe that happened there.
Yeah, he was about 10th slower. Sorry, he was a 10th quicker, about a 10th quicker that lap, Dean, doing that move off of 4.
Yeah, maybe it was a lap before. It was.
Yeah, lap before he was a 10th slower. So here he goes again, going to try it again. He's going to get a better angle off the corner in 3 and 4 this time. Let's see what the lap times are here. Newton 06029 and Reiner at 083. Here he goes. Reiner dives it in deep, but Newton's able to roll it so much better because he has the clean air, Dean. That's the key right now.
Well, it is the key, and you know, Newton's been in this position before. He does not look phased by this. He's holding his line. I love the way he's riding that kind of middle groove off. But Reiner there now, so Reiner is not going to let this go. He wants to bring that machine to victory lane in honor of Perri, and he's going to try everything to do it. We're coming down to 13 to go.
Well, I think the other thing, too, is these guys want to, you know, prove, like, hey, there's some guys in this league that can compete with Reiner. That's the other side of this equation, right? Reiner's got a lot of extra motivation tonight, but I think Adam Newton has a lot of extra motivation to try to hold off the de facto champion of this league.
Yeah, and you see Newton moved up right in front of him, trying to take that air off. So where does Newton go? Reiner waiting, trying to analyze, and Reiner trying to get on the outside of him.
Newton needs to run higher in 3 and 4 because he's letting that run come from Reiner, but he knows that Reiner can't pass him on the bottom in 1 and 2. So there's that. The flip side too is that, you know, and see right there, Newton is trying to protect so much, but he gets a bad turn through turn 2. This is going to open the door for Reiner to look on the bottom, but he doesn't go. Newton puts it right in the middle. He
doesn't want it, Jared. That's what I'm noticing. Reiner does not want the bottom. And I think Newton's kind of noticed that too. So he's going to give him the bottom, but Reiner won't take it.
See what happens here. I mean, this is becoming compelling, right? As we're down to 11 laps to go at the line, coming to 10 to go. Newton a little bit better through that corner there. Stays just ahead of Reiner.
Wow, what a battle. These two slugging it out. Reiner stalking.
I don't know if they are, but they are going to come close to catching the last two cars on the lead lap, which is George Dibble and Todd Gilly. They are coming off turn 2 right now. So I don't know if they'll quite get there, but they might play a factor at the end of this race.
As the sun begins to set here at the Rock, we've got ourselves a good one. The Bulldog trying to hold off Batman Bryce Reiner. And Perri along for the ride here this evening.
And you know how bad Bryce Reiner wants to win. I think he would trade a lot of those victories he's had for a victory here tonight, but he is all over the back of Newton. Newton letting him have the bottom this time. Reiner's going to try to take it. Newton pinches him down.
Yeah, he's pinching him down. They both roll up a bit. Newton gonna win the battle, but Reiner... No, they're in! They're wrecking!
No!
Reiner down through the grass! Newton got the wall, came down into him. Reiner hangs on to it. He's back on the track, and here comes the Rifleman. Will he make a move? So Newton touches the wall, and oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know what you say. I don't know what to say in that scenario. I mean, that sucks is what I can say.
It does,
it's not
and
intentional, but
there's nobody happy about that one, Jared. I mean, not Adam Newton, not Bryce Reiner, not the fans, not rooting for Perri to be carried to victory here. It is what it is. The one thing I do like about it, Jared, nobody laid down. I don't believe in laying down for anybody at any time. You're going to win a race, you got to go earn it. This is the type of thing that happens at Rockingham, and we just witnessed it. 6 to go, the Bulldog, your race leader.
Yeah, now Jason Ratliff, he sees a little blood in the water. Reiner merged back out there in a way that I'm sure probably didn't make Jason Ratliff too happy, as he kind of merged from the bottom to the top, right in front of Reiner when he wasn't up to, or right in front of Ratliff when he wasn't up to speed. So Ratliff probably not thrilled. I don't know if he's upset, but I don't think he's thrilled about that. But he's not going to be able to get to him, I don't think, right now.
The other story, Darren Bruce has made his way back to 4th, Jared. How about that for persevering after driving through the grass?
I mean, Darren, he just didn't quit tonight. I mean, I think he had a car that could have done well in this race. The first run, he looked a lot better than the rest of the runs, but everybody else kind of adapted, I think. And Darren tonight, I think he showed a little bit of like, hey, I still got it, man. And he put it out there and is able to get back from, I think he was 11th at one point.
He was 13th when he restarted.
So
the last guy on the lead lap. He is driven back to 4th. Amazing job. I mean, I'm in shock almost, and I'm also happy for Carrie and everybody else there in the Bruce household watching that they get to see Grandpa out here doing it. He's still got it, folks. Adam Newton, 3 to go here at the Rock. No real challenge now, Jared, as ever the top 3 spaced out. Bruce in 4th, about 6-7 seconds back. Maurer in 5th. So Newton's going to parade around here.
Yeah, Newton has 2 lap cars in front of him. I don't think he's even going to try to press the issue to catch those guys.
No need. The 2
White
machine.
flag in the air.
Yeah, white flag being waved. 1 more to go for the 2. He'll come out at corner number 2, and he will roll up on George Dibble, the last car on the lead lap. He should take it easy here, Jared. Down through 3 and 4, the 2. Adam Newton, the Bulldog, going to be victorious here at the Rock. Bryce Reiner holds on for 2nd. The Rifleman will be 3rd. Bruce and Otto Viani with top 5s here this evening.
Yeah, man, and that's tough, man. That is so tough because I think we had a good battle on our hands, and it's just one of those unfortunate things as Reiner gives Newton a couple bumps there. I think those are congratulatory. I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah, for sure they are.
I don't think those look nefarious by any means. But that's still heartbreaking if you're Bryce Reiner, right? I don't think that, it's hard for us to commentate on it, right?
Well,
Because
it's
I don't,
not
neither
really,
of us.
Jared. The way I look at it, I mean, it's not like Newton tried to block or he tried to do anything. He simply got into the wall. These things happen, and he come down a couple of feet. That's the luck of racing sometimes, and that's all that really was, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment, Dean. But you kind of wish that the contact, the net code contact, would have not been so rough. But that's a different story for a different day.
It really is. As Newton burns him down and celebrates, bringing that Nano Pros machine back to victory lane. One happy camper. Right now, let's go. We'll take a short commercial break, and we'll come back, and we'll get some race interviews in. All right, back here at Rockingham, where the chat is still, talking a little bit about that incident, and it's rough, Jared. Basically, when you have a driver you're rooting for, especially with a cause you're rooting for, it really is tough, isn't it?
It is, and it's it's heartbreaking because I don't think either driver really did anything. I mean, they're both racing hard there, right? And in a normal circumstance, that contact should not have ricocheted Reiner off. I think that's the real heartbreaking point, is that was such a great, shaping up to be such a great finish, and I think we just kind of got robbed there by something out of both drivers' control, because they were just leaving it all out there.
Yeah, we definitely did. As viewers got robbed of something, and nonetheless, that is racing. We've seen it many times. We talked about our top five. Maurer in sixth. Walker the second, nice run tonight. It was up front and second quite a bit this evening. He finishes seventh. Jason Jackson in eighth. Brantley in ninth. Greg Ratliff 10th. And you can find your favorite driver there, and you can find some of your heartaches out there as well. Like 16th, Paul Travis. He led a lot here this evening. Wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, and you look at the rest of these guys down through here. Tough breaks for guys like Wrecker getting involved in that wreck. LaPrime and not that big wreck early with Tony Ratliff. Rachel Hunt with some, we think computer issues there, finishing 25th, and then Mike Brown, DNS here tonight.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get some race interviews in, as we bring in the rifleman, the 55, Jason Ratliff, third place here this evening. What a run, Jason. Congrats.
Thank you, Dean. Appreciate it.
So, I'm going to start, Reiner being kind of the standard almost, at least that's kind of how we see it. You ran with him there on that second run. You had to be happy with how your car was hanging in there with Reiner.
Yeah, I actually used him to kind of judge when to go, when to hold back. So that played a little bit in my favor. I just tried to conserve tire and make sure I had something at the end of a long run. You could gain more tire or more time easy on the long run than you could at the short run.
Now, Jason, this tough track here, like, I hope you don't have any fillings or anything. They might have come loose out there. I mean, how was it handling this bumpy track all night?
I'll tell you what, it was a workout. I am sweating. I got the fan on. It was a fun race. fighting the track, fighting the car, fighting, traffic. Everything was just a factor that you had to circumvent, and as you try to make your way to the front.
Well, what was the key out there, Jason? I mean, in the past, we've had guys talk about trying to finesse some kind of high line. We had a lot of guys running low out here that seemed to do very well on the long run. What were the factors out there?
From my point of view, factors was trying to keep it low, not really pushing too hard, and just waiting on the throttle if you could, and not lose too much time. Because if you had a lot of your tires were scrubbing and you just smash the throttle down, then you're just burning the right front off.
And I also talk about, the Newton got a little bit into the wall when him and Reiner were side by side, caused Reiner to go down through the grass. He comes up right in front of you, a little bit slow too. What were you thinking at that point, and how'd you handle that situation?
I was thinking, I wish I had more tires so I could actually go to the bottom and pass him because I knew that was probably going to be my only chance. But turned out he was still faster than me, so he would have probably got around me anyways.
Well, you're plenty fast enough, Jason. Really happy with what I've seen from you. I mean, we talked about it in the broadcast. There was times when you had short run speed. There's been times when you've had long run speed, and it seems like maybe tonight was that medium spot, that winning style of racing. Or did you feel a little bit of that tonight?
Yeah, I did. I felt comfortable, maybe not winning, but definitely a front runner. When you can catch people on a long run, it does make you feel good. So yeah, I'm happy with where I finished and how the race turned out.
Well, we're happy for you, my friend. Congrats on third place, and we'll turn it over to you. Anybody you want to shout out, please do.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Mike Brown and Alive Church for sponsoring Sunday nights. I'd like to thank Jason Brantley and East Coast Web Printing for sponsoring Thursday nights. And I'd like to thank all the admins here, work behind the scenes. I'd like to thank all the good drivers here and you guys up in the booth for putting on a good show for us to go back and watch usually the next day or so.
All right, Jared, that's the number 55, the rifleman, Jason Ratliff, third place here this evening.
Yeah, and a great run by Jason there. And I'm down here with Bryce Reiner. And Bryce, it's hard to find a place to start, but let's start at the end of that race. Contact between you and Adam Newton there. Hard racing there at the end, but I'm sure not the way you wanted your night to end up.
No, not at all. But honestly, really, really fun race tonight. A lot of work to do, that's for sure. But getting up there right before that caution really helped me. And it's tough racing against Adam. I mean, it's just like George and everybody. I was setting up that pass, hoping to be perfect there, and I saw he got a little tight when I got underneath him, and I was just hoping and praying, he didn't get to the throttle quick enough, and I would able to roll that bottom pretty good. And once I saw him come back down, I was along for the ride, but sticking it out.
We did a good job holding on to it. I mean, we saw the same thing happen with Darren Bruce earlier in the race, and you did a great job holding on to that thing. Could have been a lot worse. Could have been a wreck. Could have been done with the race because, Bryce, I know you were racing with a heavy heart here tonight, racing in memory of Perri, and I know that you probably wanted to end up in victory lane for him tonight.
No, I sure did, and I gotta thank my buddy Craig for pulling this paint out real quick around 8:30, and it's a blast to put him on the car. And um, it's tough going through something like that, but I know I wasn't close with him, but he sure was one of my friends with and former coworker and a bunch of other friends who have known him. But yeah, I sure wanted to get into victory lane. That's why I was trying to so hard to try to rip the top and try to set up a pass for Adam. I mean, I know he was ripping the bottom for some time, and I didn't really want to show the top lane too soon because I think that's what he was thinking as well. But it was now or never, and I had to go to even catch up to him to make a move. So Thankful to get to him. It's just, the circumstances where I decided to go low. It didn't really pan out well, but heck of a save by me, and I tried to wheel that thing and catch back up.
Well, Bryce, you put on a heck of a show regardless. I mean, you didn't qualify tonight, had to start in the back, toward the back, and you put on a show going through the field a couple times tonight. And still second place, still great. I mean, I know it's not official, but pretty much have the championship locked down at this point. I would say it's official based on the point gap. But Bryce, congratulations tonight on a second place finish. I know not what you wanted, but I'm going to turn the mic over to you and let you have the last word on your race.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't know what the points look like, but I think James was sitting second, so I don't know exactly what happened with him or how he got a couple laps down, but I assume hitting a wall or getting into something that wasn't a caution. So if it is wrapped up, we'll just keep pushing on and keep going after wins in top fives and top tens. But all in all, great race from everybody. A couple cautions here and there. Wish that last caution didn't come out because I felt like we had a huge long run in the car tonight, and felt like we could have passed Adam there before the caution and kind of check out right before pit stop. So unfortunate that didn't happen, but kudos to him to hanging on to the car and me giving him a barrier per se. But just want to give a shout out to you guys up in the booth. Thanks for putting this on as always. Jared, Adam, Dean, everybody, Baron who broadcasts. It's awesome to watch back, especially races that are pretty intense like this one. I gotta say, but thanks to all the sponsors and admins to the league, East Coast Web Printing, Alive Church. They do a great job as always. Last but not least, Team Conti Sim Performance, Digital Sim Sports, Martin PC, and lo and behold, my good buddy who passed away last night. Tough times. He was a great person, great friend, and we'll keep your thoughts with us.
Absolutely. And Dean, that was our runner-up tonight. Bryce Reiner, and our thoughts and prayers go out to Perri's friends and family. I know it's a sudden and a tough situation to go through for sure.
It certainly is one of the toughest in life, and a lot of us, as we age, deal with it more and more. And my heart definitely goes out to everybody. I hope Reiner's efforts put on a show for you. But right now, we bring in the number 2, the Bulldog, Adam Newton, race winner. Congratulations, Adam.
Thank you, man.
I mean, holy smokes, Adam. It was a tough one out there. You get out to the lead. Let's get right into the end there. I mean, you're obviously thinking, I got to try and hold that high line without maybe running the high line in both corners. You can't allow him to get to your outside. You're trying to hang on, get a little piece of the wall. This happens when you're side by side at Rockingham.
Yeah, that was a complete flop on my part. And I was listening to what Bryce was saying, and he was spot on. I was mirror driving, and I knew I was going to have to go to the high side at some point just because of people we've raced with in the past. That is a better line when it comes down to it. And I was just trying to buy my time and save the tires on the bottom, and I completely just, excuse my language, I pooped the bed coming off that corner.
Well, it happens, but let's talk more about your strategy out there. So, it looked like you and Bruce got out there in that last run, and it looked to me like your car was a little like more set and more at ease. It looked like Bruce was hustling the car a little bit, and that kind of showed up as the run went on here. Tell us about getting around Rockingham and the difficulties of doing so.
Well, when we went out and I saw that Darren had got behind me, we were in the same channel, and I was just telling him I'm letting off early, I'm doing my thing, and that's the whole thing is being smooth, letting off, and just hitting your marks, being consistent. And as you like to say, you have a lap time that you got to hit. And if you're consistent with it, you can pretty much run repetitive laps. And once you start doing it, yes, it's not fast at the beginning, but middle and long run, it pays big dividends. And that's what I was trying to do with Darren. And then Darren had it lick up coming off that same corner. And I was like, well, now it's going to definitely get interesting. But yeah, you just have to be smooth around here.
Adam, what is so difficult about the exit of that corner? I mean, many people had, tank slapped or hit that wall at that spot. What makes it so difficult here at Rockingham?
Timing. It's your timing coming off the exit to straighten the wheel up. Because the quicker you can straighten the wheel up and get in the gas, the faster you are on exit. And you see all those guys were making tons of time up on me entry, but I was just murdering them on exit. And that's the whole key, is just coming off straight and smooth.
Straight and smooth. I like it, Adam. You put on a show out here. It has to feel good. I know you've been a little snake bit in some of the racing you've been doing. It must feel good to be back in victory lane.
It does, and like, I'm sorry to hear about Bryce's friend, and Bryce really saved me from wrecking when I did do that boo boo. But this is from my friend Rob and his family, and for Mike in the nursing home, and you know, so many people are sick right now and dealing with stuff. This is for them.
Yeah, well, my heart goes out to you, Adam. Congrats on the victory, my friend. Try to savor it a little bit and enjoy it. And we'll turn the mic over to you, man. Anybody else you want to shout out or thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Mama June's, Nana Pros, Lee Pulliam Race Cars, um, my teammates Darren and Rachel and Otto Biani and Spear Trucker, and East Coast Web Printing. Thank you for what you do for this league and Alive Church. Thank you all as well, and thank you and Jared for putting on a phenomenal show for us. And maybe we race another race sometime soon.
All right, Jared, the Bulldog, Adam Newton, back in victory lane.
Yeah, I think, what a race, right? I mean, it was such an interesting race. I agree with Bryce. I would have loved to have seen some of the race kind of play out, but those cautions kind of came at weird times, because I think Nathan Maurer kind of got, screwed over in a caution there, and I would like to see what he could have done in that race, because it looked like he had some speed. It was such an interesting race, and I think Newton also touched on, Dean. There's a lot of things in our world that are going on, and and people are feeling good, or whatever the case may be, and it's always good to come out and be able to race and enjoy racing and being competitive with guys you can race with. And I think tonight kind of showed that. Reiner was racing for a cause. Newton said he was racing for a cause. So I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, Dean.
It is. I know Adam, and I know some of the things he's gone through, and I'm not sure if I know someone who goes through more than that, man. So happy for him. A little sad for Reiner too. I know he was really wanting that one as well. But like you said, the community, right? This is something I know, at least for myself, Jared. Without it, I mean, I don't even know what I would do. I mean, I'd have to go pick on the kids out in the parking lot or something.
Yeah, I'd probably get a lot more done.
Well,
Honestly,
there is that.
There's things that I've just been like, oh yeah, I'll get to it after I do 17 races today.
I mean, you don't want me on a porch in a rocking chair with a shotgun. You're
No.
better off being on iRacing. And we love bringing it to you, folks, and we can't wait for our next one. Make sure you come back and tune in for that. But for myself, Dean Doucette, for Mr. Jared Carr, that's going to wrap it up from the Rock, and we'll see you right here next time on Wind Tunnel TV.